Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Kanye Sivande, and this is my channel where I invite my friends and people that I find interesting and we have conversations. So on today's video, I have my good friend
Smiling.
Hi. My friend Umpumi, and we'll be talking about the world of influencer marketing. Welcome, girl.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay, so Umpumi, before we get into it, what is it that you do? Qualifier ukuthi uze la uzokhuluma about influencer marketing.
I mean, besides the point that we nje, like people you just saw. So I am an influencer culture executive for Ripple. That's another role I play for East and South Africa. So I worked in influencer marketing in a multinational, international, beauty brand. So I was an influencer marketing manager from there, then moved now to where I am part of a tech company that is in the influencer marketing space.
Okay, so you worked like all over Africa.
Yeah, so I had a portfolio of 10 countries, which was
10 countries.
Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Uganda, and Ethiopia. I don't know if I'm leaving one out, but those were like my main countries. And then of course my focus was my 4 top markets, which was Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and Ethiopia came into my top market category.
Okay. So we are you worked in many. No, I'm not gonna edit it. I really want to come back to it.
Okay.
But I just want us to establish so that for a person maybe who's not familiar with influencing as what qualifies one or what makes one an influencer.
Okay. I mean, so influencer by right, before it became this whole big thing in marketing, we've always known that there has been sort of an ambassador of the brand. So this is somebody that if you were to give a product and they were to talk about it, people will believe in them because of either they've presented authenticity or have spoken about whether it's a brand or a concept even, but they've spoken about it and they've kind of gained knowledge better than I or you have been. So that's basically what an influencer is, and I tend to have my term where I call it influential, because I think once we got into a place where it's quite fluid, once you take pretty pictures you become an influencer. And that's what I found also when I was working within the influencer market, why sometimes brands and influencer don't stick, or you also are like, really though? Yesterday you were talking about a bicycle, so now you're talking about
I actually have that question because Nami I have
So that's basically it, is that especially even from a brand or CMO or marketing or campaign manager, influencer manager, is that you really need to understand the brand in its totality, what it is and how people actually view the brand. And then also looking at your influencers, you're looking at this influencer to say, do they speak the brand? Have they been speaking about it? It doesn't mean because now they've hit viral numbers, now they are due to talk about your brand. Yes, your brand will be seen, but then bottom line is conversion. Yeah.
Okay. So having worked in this video is going to be all over the place because now I'm going to come back to what you said.
Yes.
But now I'm coming back to the one thing that you having worked in different countries. So what is the difference between influencers in South Africa and influencers in
the different
markets?
So funny enough, and then that's quite a great question, only because it's one of in my file of articles, one of the topics or the the view is that what's the difference between the Nigerian influencer trend or market, whereas what's the difference with Kenyan, etc. So I'm going to focus on those and South Africa just because those are the ones I was quite entrenched in, or maybe also Ethiopia. So with regards to the influencers in South Africa, I've found that we have quite a big group or a big pool of influencers that we can choose from. I know there was a LinkedIn conversation that I was roped in to say that maybe influencers, because now we're tired now. You're an influencer, you wake up, you're an influencer, you've just got 10,000 followers, now you become an influencer. Very true. But now brands, I think, are moving into a space where they're looking for quite authentic influencers, and that's why maybe nano influencers have become a thing now, or there's more opportunity there, whereas previously it was from an awareness strategy that if we have a influencer with however many 100,000s, we're looking at macro influencers and above, then they get campaigns. But now they're like, but we really want to convert, to be honest with you. So what I've seen then with that is that in South Africa we have quite a big pool of influencers. And also I want to add, I think there's also an influencer, but there's a content creator. With that being said, is that you are the creative behind the story, and then an influencer is the star in the story. So you'll find that you don't necessarily have to be the influencer who's creating the content. You can sit with the content.
Why are you answering my question?
I'm sorry, is there a question?
I have that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but I want to go back to, sorry, so why I make that a point is because I found that in South Africa we have such amazing content creator influencers within the nano market, and also I think it comes back to price, because you question, okay, so then why are we paying them 100 rand, another 1 million and so forth? Of course, that is a fluid market. Again, it's part of my articles, because I'm like, why am I paying you 10,000? You deserve 10,000. And others say I deserve 10,000. But what is it within influencer marketing are we saying are the inputs of saying this is how much you can pay an influencer?
Sorry.
Did I answer another question?
No.
But yeah, so that's that. But differences is from a price point of view. And maybe, I don't know if it's because we had created the brand, I find them quite easy to talk to, and of course the brand.
South African?
No. I wanted to say in the African markets, it was quite easy, but I think also I can't act like I didn't work for a big brand that people didn't want to be part of. That's another thing. But in South Africa, I honestly haven't found, I feel like there's similarities. I feel like in Kenyan market, because maybe it's a growing market, there's still opportunity to negotiate with those that want to negotiate from a price perspective. I found that once we became friends of the brand, but even post, I found in Nigeria, they work hard. They will give you content above what you've asked for. Like the deliverables are like amazing. In South Africa, with the ones I've interacted with, they were very much glad to jump on the campaigns, and also maybe it's from an affinity thing, is that I'm speaking to Mkaya, okay, perfect. My companies, all the companies that I was working with were international ones, so they were more than happy to jump on. I've dealt with difficult influences, but I think for me, I took the role as you're working with celebrities. So how do celebrities act? Kiss ass. So, but yeah, you make friends, you really identify, and I could understand from their perspective feeling undervalued, but at the same time I looked at my budget and I was like, babe, I ain't got them, but so they are different, but like I say, hard workers nonetheless. The Kenyans that I had worked with also though were hard workers. Others are like, okay, I give you that and that ends there. They are very much, you're gonna pay for what you've given. Anything above that, they won't even tag you, but it's a beautiful picture. Yeah, and I had the opportunity to work with celebrities. Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah,
very expensive.
Yeah. And you're not dealing with them, you're dealing with managers, and they'll use your products after you PR drop them, but they will not tag you.
Okay, but no. A lot of influencers I've seen on like their different channels have complained because sometimes brands just drop stuff and expect the influencers just mention them.
Yeah. And
for them, the value part of it, Google, it doesn't really. Yes, they got the brand, but they want money. They don't want your PR dropped.
Yeah, and which is true, and I get it from both sides. I've never been an influencer, but I've been, you know, the one directing influencer or campaigns and so forth, and creating those. From the brand side, I can understand that you have KPIs.
Yeah.
And with KPIs means there's a budget and you kind of need to show an ROI to that. So you kind of have to play, you play magic is basically your job as that marketer, is that you need to make wine out of a beer budget. And it means that I kind of have to look at who can I kind of work with. And remember, another thing is, I remember working with another influencer, and I was like, so I used to pre-approve content, and I was like, but from the brief, what are we missing perhaps?
Oh, the content.
You know,
not
so the difficulty comes when, yes, I've seen your content, but I'm also trying to see, are you a match? I think usually also with brands, whether it's for a campaign, they also want to see a story with that influencer. So it's not necessarily, and depending on how industries and so forth, but from what I've seen though, brands tend to either want to work with, I remember we had a strategy where it was around friends. So if it was an ex, I want to, you know, to work with X and X's friends, so X, Y, Z, and kind of, so it afforded us that opportunity, and it was from a long-term perspective. So even if we because we categorize our SKUs into our, you know, hero sellers and whatever is our B products, so we know that B products are our testers. We're trying to see a lipstick, how will it work, how do people, you know, try it out. So I honestly want to say it is a give or take. If you feel that you're at a point where I'm known, my content, how I act, I have a manager, so, you know, if you want to talk to me, I'll talk to my manager. That's also great. Okay? It really just depends on you. Maybe other people do exploit. I maybe, but to be honest with you, it is to reach KPIs. It is to see that, listen, there is, I mean, if your brand, guys, there's big brands out there, so, you know, you need to see that, is it for my affiliation? Will it help me? Will it propel me? I think what I've seen with the trend also with influencers is that now they've moved not only to them creating content, but TVC. Now you're on TV and having gigs. I think we've seen that with Brutal Fruit. We've seen that with, what is it, Procter & Gamble, those, is it Procter & Gamble, or is it, what's that? Yeah. Bengizothi university yama-marketer, ibizwa ni-Harvard yama-marketing, what is it? Unilever. So some of the products they add, they so all of those things. So alcohol, you know, pharmaceuticals, etc. So you find that migrations become so much easier. So you've moved away from having now to go to an agent to actually get that gig, but they've seen it from the content you create that actually no, you could start in the ads.
Okay, so does being an influencer, okay, to be an influencer, do you need to be a content creator? So is content creation a prerequisite for you to be called an influencer?
No, and similarly to songs, there are songwriters and there are singers.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you could have amazing writing, but then maybe the appeal, Pimbo is just not working out. But it doesn't mean that your song cannot then be expressed or shared. You get the right person to share it. So I view it as that, is that you could be an amazing content creator and maybe just you featuring it, yay, Mosha man, so you can come, and I know of a friend who I said, listen, I mean, he's a photographer, in the times when I studied film, that's where I met some of my friends there, or TV rather, he was in that, I was saying, look at that, I mean, there is now an opportunity to become a content creator, you strategize how it will look like, I mean, you have already expertise of the sun, the light, the camera there, you know, so use that to your potential to create, you know, ad-like, and I think we've seen like I say, I've seen a trend of a really amazing influencers now in terms of their content. It's moved away from just it being about, hey, how you doing? I like this product. But now it's moving into a spot where now you're seeing 4K there, zoom in, zoom out. Then at the end, it was, that was a product. So that's what I'm seeing, and I'm really loving that.
So if a person wants to like get into content creation, working with brands, how, if you have an idea, maybe there's a lady sitting right next to you who might be interested in doing that.
I'm done. So for me, brands couldn't care less about your story. That's great. I need to see something. So I think and I speak as my perspective. For me, in my department, I'm not shooting it. So I want to see, what have you done? How have you been selling products? So from a content creator side, is that you can actually have a professionalized portfolio to say, hey, to an influencer rather, to say, listen, this is what I do, this is what I can do, this is the story I'm thinking with a brand, and how can we collaborate? And then have them then as a voice piece just to send that out to the brand. I really loved, especially in Africa, what I loved was, and just going back to that question around different trends, it was very difficult with the systems I was using, or AI that I was using, to pull data for the African market. South Africa was, at least you could pull quite a lot of data, but it was very limited for the other African markets. And that was my main reason around saying, you know what, I see a gap in Africa, that there's no AI that you get clear detail as to influencers. I can't type Nigeria and then you're giving me one person, Diban Josam. I'm just trying to say that you found that they had like very high, celebrities who weren't. I was looking for influencers, macro, nano, micro. Give me that. I mean, go to Europe. You click there, any other country that is European. You would get data proper. You would get spreadsheets on spreadsheets on graphs on graphs. So that's what I found. But with South Africa, then also there was quite a lot of data. So it's just also from a tech perspective I'm seeing a growing market in Africa, and also because I'm in it, that's why I see it's growing.
Okay, so is it wise for nano influencers to like cater or create content for a very niche market? Okay, not just only nano influencers. Okay, but influencers that are just starting out, we can also categorize them as nano influencers, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, is it wise for nano influencers to just have a very niche market?
So I go back to what we said you are as an influencer. You're influential. So with influential, or being influential, is intent. So in a sense that whether you go like it's planned, if I'm to call it that, like any job or career of growing, if I say that I love, and I suppose you started broadly to say I love hair. So once you talk about hair, there's different compartments around that, be it the type of hair that you'll be talking about, be it different brands, whether it's straightening brands, whether it's natural that we've seen, whether it is the products you use for dehydration, rehydration, hydration, body just like dry,
that's why I break your hair.
So that's that. Funny enough, with that though, I've seen the same au natural influencer who's cut their hair, and people come back to say, because of you. So I've seen that along the different journeys of some influencers, just being intentional. Being intentional about what it is that you love talking about, like I say, or love sharing, or love, because again, being influencer, you're a master, you're becoming a master. So even if you don't know, you know something better than another person, because you're researching, you're reading, you're trying, so you're the trial out person for somebody else to say, listen, my hair was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I will review. But it also goes back to a value thing. I say that because I've seen some influencers, and I think it was, I don't know if it was a question you asked, to say, what brands would you not work on? Be it maybe there's a,
because you have, Aisha, now you created a niche market for yourself. So if, let's say, my market is natural hair, and then a different brand, maybe a clothing brand comes and approaches me because I was focusing mainly on hair, and then a clothing brand comes and would say, hey, we love you, we want to work with you. Is it wise for a person with a small audience or who's trying to grow to say no to that opportunity because they are focusing mainly on this one thing?
Girl, if you're getting free products, why would you say no? Why would you say no? Look, if you intend on then looking to talk about clothing, then yes. But if not, I mean, you can get free clothes, that's fine. But then you're not gonna tag and then it ends there, whatever the case may be. But stay true to self, to be honest. That's what it's about. Stay true to yourself. We can already sniff when you were talking about a Huawei, but then in your next picture we see an iPhone.
Twitter for iPhone, but I honestly have a problem with that. About Samsung S whatever.
And when we're dropping brands here, Zonke's brands is teaching us they must sponsor.
So Umuntu is going to be talking about Samsung whatever, and then Twitter from an iPhone. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, yes, we're saying be authentic, but trust me, we've set a brief of what you can and cannot say. And also just selling the brand better. And yes, almost like a reality show. It's a show, buffet.
Yeah.
But
reality.
You know what I mean? Yeah, look, it's very clean, velvet touch. But to be honest with you, it boils down to that. You can really see through, and then it loses the meaning. You kind of then it gets over. So it doesn't necessarily sit in your subconscious as a happy memory, if I'm to call it that, for lack of better words. So you kind of are just like, we know you're getting your paycheck, it's fine, babe. It's okay, we ain't gonna judge you, but you know. So it is very important, and that's why I was saying it was from a brand side, you sometimes want to try out a brand, and that's why with influencers who are keen to try it out, you're more than happy to then maybe extend the contract. I do believe maybe where there's opportunity also from brand side, if you can pay for that, because I think when I started working with influencers, before I even thought they had jobs, I was like, yo, but to think that you've strategized on the creative, you've then thought, okay, maybe you take so many takes, you know, I've seen them, I've worked with them, you know, they work, then you're learning editing tools, you are editing, you know, and so forth. So it is a lot of work. I honestly don't even take anything away from influencers. I had to actually succumb to say, wow, guys, I commend you. This is absolutely amazing. And always to stay on, be cute, because you can never be caught and cute. Just say it, period.
Okay, in closing, because I feel like, you know what, I feel like I have to come back some other day and then we do a part 2. Because I feel like this influencer topic is very broad. But in closing, how can a nano influencer measure their influence? Because for example, there's this girl that I follow, she influences me a lot in terms of me personally. She influences me a lot in terms of the way that she dresses, like a lot of items as Gogayo.
Yeah, sure, man. What is this somebody?
No.
So the nano influencer, one influencer, Kanye, Sile.
No man. So this girl, ubani wants to come like
yisumthetha kaloku.
No, but uyenza kahle, usine sugar. I don't know her surname. Usine sugar on Twitter. I follow her on Twitter. So uhlala posting impahla ze-Mr. Price. So she dresses it like proper, you know. And then there are many items that I bought. Most of items that I bought at Mr. Price from, let's say, September until now are things that I saw on her show. So because I will never inbox her and say, hi girl, you influenced me, I got this and this. How does she measure her influence, and how does she use that to attract brands? Saying it's
I hear you.
Abantu who are just starting out to know how can I measure my influence, and how do I use that to attract brands? Yeah.
And I'm thinking and I'm hoping that what is it, the social media trend will actually have this hashtag influence thing happening. And I know there's other, what is it called? There's other AIs that will allow you to tag a brand, you know, so as you say hashtag influenced by X brand, in your case, maybe Mr. Pratt, or rather an account. So that it affords, because I've seen it with Toby Rose, I've seen her, you know, people, I think it was shoes from Mr. Price, people said influenced by, I've seen a couple of other influencers.
That's nice.
Because then you can then track more of the conversion part of things, because it's also there's three parts, of course. Any marketer is going through, you know, the funnel to say at the start, you've seen, now you're thinking about it, and then lastly, of course, you are converting. From a digital marketing side, it's called SMART. I think there's a 0. So basically what it's saying is that from the time you see, there's every opportunity for you not to want to buy the product, because either you've read a review, somebody has gone into Hello Peter, you know, there's so many opportunities between that time when you've seen a product and by the time you actually make a purchase, you know, online. So from a nano perspective, I think it is, firstly, of course, it will be the investing in knowing how to grow your account, because that then will, data is basically, all we're doing is buying your data, buying the people that see the product. That's what every, you know, influencer, manager, marketer, anybody's really wanting to do. So that's your currency, and then adapting really to understand them, making sure that you're understanding what are the stats, what are the AI changes on Instagram that now make you sit on explore so that you'll be followed, you now change to reels and stuff. So be very inquisitive about your job, if I'm to call it that, so that you can know how to grow, because then the more you grow, the more then these brands then will want to work with you. Helping yourself to grow, understanding the industry, also also take your stuff seriously, guys. From rate cards, get to understand what's the I mean, they're not gonna tell you, but maybe try and understand what's the competitive rate for whatever it is within your segment or industry or whatever it is you want to talk about. Maybe get to know, I charge a £5 now, okay, when 2,000. Why?
But there are people like Usibumpan and Noyongs, they're quite open about pricing on their
Yes,
so you can
definitely.
you can find
jump
information.
onto those, really understand that. Those are my 4 things.
Okay, thank you so much, girl. I think we're gonna do a part 2. I don't know when, not today, because too late, man. Thank you. I'm from against the I'll be back very soon.
Yeah. Look, by the time I give you part 2, probably there will be quite a lot of changes in this life. For all we know, maybe there won't be any influencer marketing. Maybe it's a different name. Could be in 10 years' time when I meet with Kanye, but here we are.
I'm the one that delays our meeting. Sorry, I'm not even gonna get into that. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.